Hello, hello, hi. How's everyone doing? Welcome on in. As the title suggests, I am suffering from caffeine withdrawal. But we push on. But hi, welcome on in. I was working on this thing earlier today. So yeah, the art is done. We just need to rig it. This is a little chunky seal. Caffeine withdrawal is rough. I feel like my heart has forgotten how to beat without it. Know what I'm saying? I did have a bit of an art marathon lately. I think like the past week, right? Insane amounts of caffeine and insane amounts of progress. Um, while that was all well and good, I think I need to take it easy with the coffee. So yeah, that's what I've been up to. I'm trying to remember what I did here. Hi Nadia. If you came for caffeine, sorry. I have not had any coffee today, which is probably the first time in ages. So yeah, my body is suffering. But how's it going with you? Has the feather counter doubled? The important questions. But yeah, okay. I normally take a little bit of coffee each day, maybe like 1 cup. Now, I decided that I really need to be super productive and get through as many commissions as fast as possible. What ended up happening is I would consume about 1 liter of coffee because they sell these 1 liter bottles at the store. Really great thing. I would consume an entire bottle per day, get through an entire model, art, rigging, everything, and then crash on my bed and completely pass out. And it worked out great. I think I did like 1 month of progress in about like half a week, so it was working. Unfortunately, if I kept it up at that pace, my heart will stop working. So we're taking it easy today. Hi, Goldie. Hi, Diamond. Welcome, welcome. Maybe it's Ruby Fangirl, but if you go by Diamond, I will try to make a note and remember that. But hi, welcome on in. I want to say we'll be productive today, but I say that every time, and we all know how that goes. Okay, I was productive enough off stream, so I can yap all I want, and we'll still be on schedule with commissions. In fact, we're way ahead of schedule. I think we're halfway done with my September waitlist. So yeah, everyone will be getting it a month early. How's your day been? Surprisingly productive. So I hope it's all been good with you guys as well. You know, I don't live the most eventful life, to be honest. I don't think I left my house in like 2, 3 days. So yeah. No, what? I think I popped out for groceries. Scratch that. But before that, I think I'm becoming an indoor cat, like more than usual. Isn't that fantastic? Yeah, it is. The power of caffeine. Please caffeinate responsibly. Don't be like me. I actually had that one of my friends was complaining because I was telling her about this, and she's like, Ordi, you can't keep drinking so much coffee. It's really bad for you, right? Which is insane coming from her because she drinks like 4 to 5 times I usually do. And she's like, you're drinking enough caffeine to kill a horse. And I was like, you're drinking enough caffeine to kill several horses. So, leave me be. I can only catfinate? Yeah, the only fix I've been getting is picking up my cats and cuddling with them. I'm not a liar. Also, why isn't the liar thing working? Should be on. Okay, this uses trigger fire, yeah. I'm sorry, this one is literally a flip of the coin where either it works or it doesn't. Let me refund you. Hold on. I know how to do this. That's a lie. I don't know how to do this. No, wait, I do know how to do this. Never mind, I don't know how to do this. You know what? It's fine. Apparently, it's not counted as the queue. Hmm. That's weird. Yeah, I'm seeing it in the queue. It's not showing up. Oh, wait. This queue is, oops. Okay, okay. I was looking at the very end of the thing. My bad. Okay, I see it. Yep, there you go. You were refunded your points for calling me a lie. And I forgot to open Mix It Up, which has the headpad. You know what? You're just getting refunded for everything today. Whoopsie. Anyway, professional streamer guys, welcome on in. Okay, it should be working. That's weird. Oh wait, sorry, software is still loading. Guys, everything's broken, but that's fine. Okay, there we are. See? I can make things work sometimes. I'm going home and getting lots of coffee, ready to work. Are you going home from work? Okay, I know you're a British cat as well. It's like 8 p.m. What? People end their work now. They don't start their work. Professional teacup warmer. You're not wrong. Okay, so I did get a new technique for the eyes, the scared ones, right? So they actually blink now. That's a new feature. It works now? Yeah. I don't know about the GIFs though. That uses different software. Hold on. Does it work? Nah, this one doesn't work. This one uses trigger fire, right? So it's free software. But honestly, half the time it doesn't work. That's my only qualm with it. Yeah, but the real work starts at the desk. Do you mean streaming or do they get you to work like at home? Yeah, sorry. It's only some of them. You can't really tell the difference because, yeah. Okay, there is a way to tell. The ones that are darker purple, that are more purple, less bluish, those ones may be a bit broken. You know what? There is no system. It's all chaos here. All the redeems look the same, even though they use like five to six different softwares. So, oh yeah, streaming, but maybe you're just making things tonight. Understandable. I think the one thing I neglect most is working on stuff for my own stream. It's, yeah. I've been meaning to get a new chat box. You see, like the little chat up here? I want a little border around it. Actually, kind of like something similar to how you have. Simply because, depending on my scene, the words may not be the most readable. But I want something like a little box so that even if I'm playing something else, it's, you can still read the chat. At least bring a shadow drop to bring the words out a bit. Yeah. I've been uh I've been thinking about just getting, just like all semi-transparent background so like you can still see through it because I'm doing live to do rigging, so sometimes this may be important occasionally in case someone is paying attention. But truth be told, I think it's fine. So yeah, I'll do something like that. I use Streamlabs, right? But based on what I've seen, I think Stream Elements is kind of a little bit better. Like it's a lot easier to customize things, so yeah, I might go for that one. I have to change things. It'll take me like a full 15 minutes to do, so the struggle is real. But yeah, anyway, I'm free of caffeine for I think a day and a half now. Yeah, it started getting a little bit bad. That's why even my last stream, I only streamed for like 1 hour. I was just dying there. I think a really bad habit I have is if at the last minute I feel like, oh, I probably shouldn't stream today, I feel very guilty canceling like at the last moment. Like if it's several hours in advance, I'm like, yeah, sorry, no stream today. All well and good. But yeah, that's how it be. So yeah, I managed to stream for like an hour. Then I'm like, a short stream, guys, and then that was that. I just make like a false overlay, make your workspace a little smaller, have the chat fall behind the model. You do make a good point. Although, uh, as someone who is a live to D artist, sometimes when I see people streaming something and I'm curious as to what exactly they're doing, like behind the scenes, this little text, all of the stuff, I kind of like zoom in. So if it's shrunk down a bit and maybe the quality is not the highest, they won't really be able to make out what's written. So yeah, that's just a little something I have at the back of my head. I don't think like for a second most people here use this as like a tutorial because I haven't really set it up that way because I end up doing more yapping than art. So in fact, all right, because there's a little blank area behind you right now. You're right. But then my staff does go kind of high up a bit. And usually, when people edit the clips, they kind of just yoink the little. They take a screenshot of this thing. I wouldn't want my model to be in the way. A lot to consider. Anyway, I need a buffering toggle. Truth be told, I need a buffering emote. Cause yeah. In fact, all of the emotes that I have are just ones that I want to use in like other people's chats. Well, most of them. I'd say 90%. Sometimes in like chat, if I'm like tired or kind of busy, kind of semi lurking ish, I tend to be very non-verbal in the sense that I mostly just chat emote only. Like you're a wizard cat, so how about chat with an old scroll as backup? I actually had that idea. I actually have a PNG for it. I don't think it's on OBS. I think I removed it. I put it here, right behind where this chat is, but I noticed it blocked out a huge chunk of the draw order of all the layers in Live 2D here. So I was like, there are some important things that I do here that, in case someone is an artist and they're curious watching along to see how I did something, because that's how I learn. It would basically be kind of a dick move to like block everything. If I knew it, if I did it accidentally, it's all good. But I'm like, that could get in the way of someone. Ow. Oh, hi, Kay. Well, the bricks are working because there's also some other stuff that are broken. But yeah, I considered the scroll thing. I do have the PNG, but okay, if I put it at the forefront, in front of my model, and at the top here, yeah, Naji, I think you're onto something. How have you all been? I am doing surprisingly well, considering my caffeine withdrawal. I feel like my heart is beating a good 30% slower, but that's probably for the best. Hmm. Oh, oops, sorry. Made a mistake. My heart is always beating faster when I see you all. Look, if you think we are terrifying and hideous, just say so. I have a crying toggle, but I can't remember which one it is. Yeah. I just realized I don't toggle off the transparent eyes that sit in front of the hair. So you can see like the ghost of me blinking. But yeah, welcome on in. How have you been? Okay, just double checking. All good. Okay. I got a new lamp. I'm really enjoying it. I have my desk and my computer underneath my bunk bed. So unfortunately, a lot of the rooms, like the ceiling light of the room, doesn't really reach under here that well. So it is kind of a bit like a dark cave. Unfortunately, when it comes to tracking my model, if the conditions aren't very well lit, the model does get a bit jittery. It tracks a bit harder. So yeah, I've been noticing it's quite smoother. It doesn't like clip. If I'm up close and half squinting, the eyes don't jitter. At least not so much. I am using an iPad, not an iPhone. So, do you have a decaffeinated toggle? I have a tired toggle. Do you see the little eye bags? They come off. So it's just they're always on because I'm always tired. Good. Been to the gym again. Talked for a bit with Crush. Ah, okay, interesting. Oh, did you know a game called Their Billions? Never heard of it. Then again, I do live a bit under a rock, so I just realized I forgot to unclip the sorry, clip the mouth. Normally I don't mind these things. I can rig them even though they're on screen. They don't bother me. But I notice like some artists, it does get a bit distracting if like the stuff is there. Like for example, if I'm deforming the head and like the rest of the face doesn't move, I don't actually get bothered by it. Although it does. Watching the tutorials, they always say, "Oh, toggle this thing off so it doesn't trip you off when you're doing blah 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 blah." So yeah, I sometimes forget this is here. Let's see. Upper skin, lower skin. Huh, that's weird. That's weird. The game is fun. It's a niche game. Very fun when going for the hardest difficulty. Is it a Souls-like game? Something is not right here. Oh, okay, sorry. There was a bit of a bug with the art mesh. That's why. Ignore what I'm saying. I'm thinking out loud to myself. Standard, heavy. Okay, there, perfect. Sorry, these layers are invisible, so if there's like a bug with them, okay, they're all good. Yeah, if there's a bug with those layers, I can't see it. So yeah, I was wondering why that was happening, but yeah, it's all good. See, all gone. But if we open the lip, ta-da, it's back there. It's a city builder survival. You have to survive in a post-apocalyptic steampunk world filled with zombies. Is it one of those ones you find like with on mobile ads? You know, because I've seen ads that are like that a lot. No, okay. I used to think no one would ever play mobile games, but one of my friends really enjoys them. It's always those like really shitty ones, right? Now, here is okay. She loves them for the exact same reason I hate them. I hate playing them because it feels very brain dead. Not doing anything. I'm not being engaged, and it's just like wasting my time. It's basically turning off my brain, and I would rather do something productive. Right? It's just a way to kind of zone out and just have feel good chemicals go off in your brain without doing anything. That is what mobile games are. Now, she likes it because she's working like all day and she's so tired and sick of thinking and doing productive things that she wants to turn off her brain. So that's why she turns to mobile games. So, I'm not gonna judge. To each their own, right? Like, I absolutely hate them for that specific reason. But for the same reason I hate them, she absolutely loves them. It's very optimized. You can have 5K zombies on screen, still no FPS drop. Hmm. Is it kind of like a Clash of Clans defense style thing? Instead of you attacking, you're just defending. Is it that kind of builder? You have to check it out and bad at explaining. Understandable. You reminded me of that one time someone tried trying to lead me to one of those view botting platforms. I think I've told this story before on stream, right? Basically, a random person DMs me on Discord. I look at them, no mutual friends. There's only one mutual server, and that is some EN tuber Discord server. It's one of those generic, hey, this is for content creators to get to know each other, grow, blah, blah, blah. You know, the one of those ones, right? There's a million of them. This is one that I was in for ages and just kind of forgot about. So I see that is the only server. So I'm like, that's odd. So yeah, they basically spent like 20 minutes pretending to be a real person and chatting. They were making good conversation, like as if they were, just getting to know someone for like 20 minutes. And I was like, something is wrong. And I'm just waiting for them to, drop the here's the link. You can buy this thing there. But they were clever. They didn't do that. They know everyone spots bots that way. So what this person did was, by the way, it's definitely a fake. They were impersonating another creator. So what they did was they're like, oh yeah, I remember back when I was a small creator, it was really tough doing this with like very few viewers, so and so. What really helped me was using this service. I can't remember what it was called. I think it was called this thing. Anyway, they have a lot of features. It's kind of hard to explain, but anyway, if you want to check them out, yeah, that's how they were. That's how they were describing. So you pop in here, you start describing some game. It's like, this is actually really great. Kind of hard to explain. You should check it out yourself. Are you a bot? Okay, explain yourself. If you have been replaced with machines, it's okay. We will try find the real you if it is along our way. In that case, I hope you don't mind we fireball your bot version. I was banned 2 times because someone thought I was a bot. Really? Okay, that's crazy. Why did they think that though? I think the eyes are cuter if I move them down. I was never told. Oh, maybe they just had that vibe. Sometimes you can't just explain things. You're just like, my gut tells me this thing. Sometimes it's right. Sometimes it's not. But I find it's always worth listening to. Usually when you have like that gut feeling of like you feel like something is off, but you just can't put your finger on it. Trust that feeling. That is your brain's pattern recognition going off long before your logical brain has picked up on something. That is basically your subconscious monkey brain going, hey, I have seen this shit before, panic, Even before you have logically concluded, like, this is a bit bad because of so and so experience, like that. They had a gut feeling that said that tentacle monster is kind of smash, not gonna lie. Okay. That'll probably get you banned in a lot of communities for non-bot related reasons. That won't get you a ban here, but I will just tell you, yeah, we don't do that here. No, no, ban. And wave my stick at you. Only if it's a second time, then you get like official warning. But yeah, I'm not very like super strict with the rules here. So long as everything is like clean and comfy, I don't mind. If you want degeneracy, I have several other creators that I can recommend. Speaking of degeneracy, I need to continue playing Wildemender with Feather. Beautiful game. I really like it. I can say this now because I confessed my sins to him. I confessed that I was having an affair. I did play single player Wildemender without him. It's I don't know what it is. It's something that just itches this very primal part of my brain. Something about just digging a hole, pouring water through it, and planting. You know what? According to my dad, our ancestors were farmers, like whatever. I don't know how many generations ago. So yeah, the fact that we like gardening, my dad is always like, "Yep, that is your ancestors' influence." Death penalty. You know, he actually said the exact same thing. Let me see. What exactly did he say? Was it too long ago? Because we're discussing other stuff. Hold on. Hmm. Okay, I can't find it, but basically, like I need forgiveness. Is like, yeah, sure, of course. I'm like, I played a little bit, tiniest bit of Wildmender. Immediately, he just texted the words is in single messages each time. He's like, unforgiven, blocked, executed, and then crying like cat. But it's all good. I was experimenting with the game's mechanics so that when we continue playing together, we can fix the world much faster. Cause you know the way I played with the mind of how would you say this? I played with the mind of someone who is analyzing and doing math and building. So an exploit that I found is one of the temples, there's an infinite source of water that, you know, this is the goddess of rivers, blah, blah, blah. They have their fountain you can drink from, never worry about it. I realized if you shove a pump in there, you can basically drain an almost infinite amount of water in that game. So, yeah, we are stealing the power of the gods for our own gain. And I realized we are no better than the game's antagonist because he basically did the same thing. So, yeah, super fun game. I was playing with the mechanics like that. I was like, is this water truly infinite or is there a limit? Next thing I know, I am calculating like the flow rate per pump, and I discovered it's actually not infinite. It replenishes just very quickly. So yeah, that's a very boring thing to see on stream. And I realized last time I played Wildmender with him, it was basically 8 hours of me in silence digging a hole while he talks to both of our chats. I got banned 26 times in someone's stream. The mods know me personally. The stream also laughs every time. Yeah. I don't know if it actually like puts a mark on your account if you get banned very frequently. Timeout, I don't think so. But I think ban, yeah. Because sometimes if you go into someone's chat, right? If they're like a problematic person, I can't remember which platform it was. Yeah, it might be YouTube or I don't know if Twitch has this, but if someone keeps getting like banned or reported and stuff, when they pop into a new chat, I don't know if you've seen this like on the mod side or if you've ever streamed. Sometimes it's like suspicious user or first time chatter, etc. Right? So yeah, sometimes they might give you a little bit of a warning, being like, "Hey, this guy is frequently banned in other chats" or something like that. I've only seen the ones for bots on Twitch, so yeah. It always has a warning label on it on YouTube. I don't know. I've never streamed on YouTube, and I don't really watch live streams on YouTube. At most on Twitch, oh yeah. Like the one that says like suspicious user and stuff. I've seen those ones, but I've never seen one where it talks about like it's like ban evader or something. Oh, okay. Have you seen one? Okay. Yeah, I've never encountered one. I think the only ones I've encountered, like the negative ones, are just suspicious user. And that's usually the ones that are, they're trying to sell like ads and stuff. So yeah, I do have Autobot on, and I trained it. I molded its mind in my image, so it just stops a lot of the spam from coming in. Cause like, try and think about it. When was the last time you ever saw a bot message in the chat here? A very long time. That's cause the the auto mod was doing its job. War criminal K. In other news, I wanna do more full body VTuber models. I've been thinking of doing my own. I have this thought like every few months, right? Like, what if I just make my own full body model, make it really cool and all that stuff, and then I get busy, and then I end up not doing that. So we'll see. Okay, that looks good. How's your own model coming along? This is the only model that I have, but okay, fun fact. Let me share this with everyone. Fun fact, since I started streaming, I have. Okay, this teacup model is labeled Ordikai version 3.0. When I first started streaming, if you look at my VTube studio, I have many different versions. These are just the ones that I kept that I haven't deleted off of the thing yet. So I always tweak and upgrade this one rather than build my own. But maybe one day. I was inspired by working on James's model, because I was like really giving it my all. It's like when I am unleashed making models, this feels nice. I never have to worry about time or like deadlines or budget or this and that. I'm like, I could just go all in. It is beautiful. Some big inspiration, yeah. Like while I was working on it, it inspired me to make my own, or at least continue working on other full body models. So yeah, that's why I've been working on trying to clear my commission queue as fast as possible. Well, one of the reasons, because if I finish them quickly, I just have more time on my hands, and if I have more time on my hands, I can work on my own stuff. So yeah. I am working on a new full body. This one, ooh, it's my first chance at making a horror model. So I'm very excited about that. I have been dying, right? Literally dying to make a horror themed model or like monster model for years now, right? This was a very early dream of mine that I just never had the chance to do. So yeah, I want to work on something like that. It'll be like a horror themed human-ish model, but then with lots of toggles to turn them into monsters. So I want that. Yeah, it'll be an eldritch model. So dark themes, monsterish parts, tentacles, obviously. So yeah, I'll keep you guys posted. But large models like that do take a very long time to do. Everything from making oh, hi May, welcome on in. Why am I being booed? What have I done? I am innocent of all crimes, okay? But hi, how's your stream? I was able to join for like 20 minutes before I came to start my own stream. Tentacles, you say? Right. So yeah, I want to make it a horror model, and dark themes, shadowy silhouettes, eldritch themes, and creepiness, and tentacles. Right. So yeah, it was good. How's yours going? I am doing great. Surprisingly well. I kind of died last stream. I was severely uncaffeinated. I had just quit like the what's it called? I finished the last of my coffee, so I basically was dying. I only managed to stream for like an hour, was kind of mumbling and fumbling my way through. So, the fact that I started streaming now, I'm like, okay, we might be a short stream as well, but hey, I think the effects are wearing off. I feel fine, except for I think I'm slowly getting used to my heart rate beating at a normal rate. Kept it short today. I made it as your first stream with your normal PC in a while. So yeah. You're playing Left 4 Dead, right? Yeah, that's a very old game. I've never played it, but I do have memories of watching my older brother played with his friends. Back then, it was like the most terrifying thing to little Ordy. There are a lot of games like that. In fact, Resident Evil 5. I saw another streamer, they were doing a whole Resident Evil marathon, right? And they're like, Resident Evil 5. I'm like, oh, I vaguely remember that game. And I was like, I remember the graphics being like super amazing and like almost real life. Until I clicked onto that stream and was looking at it, I was like, damn, the nostalgia glasses are thick. I remember the game being very all over the place. I never played it. Again, this is I was young already back then, so I was mostly just watching my older brother play it. Yeah, I think the only Resident Evil game that I played was Resident Evil 7 on the PlayStation 2. But I couldn't do it because I found it a bit too terrifying. Yamago, have fun. Well, thanks for stopping by. Thank you again for the raid, and hope you have a good rest. Bye bye. That must have been scary on the PS2. Yeah, if you look at it now, you're like, this is Roblox level graphics. Like, what is terrifying about this? But you gotta understand, I was basically baby Ordy, you know? Yeah, it wasn't even Resident Evil 4 the remaster. The remaster looks okay. I'm talking the OG one. Very pixelated. You know what? Can I find a picture of it? Yeah. Let me find a picture of it. Resident Evil 4. Not the remaster. Original. Yep, found an image. This is, let me hold up. Okay, let me open up Paint so you guys can see. Yeah. This is like the graphics. So, not the most terrifying thing. So you can imagine zombies with like this level. The remaster does look pretty good. I played ReZero 1, 2, Remake, 4, OG, 6, 7, 8. Oh, you've played them all, basically. I don't think I've really played any of them. If this is what I'm looking forward to, it's Requiem. This is PS3 area of Resident Evil. That is PS2, and that's like a I think the later end of PlayStation 2, if I remember correctly. I think this was right before they got like the PS3. Yep, that's PS2. PS3 was GTA 5, if I remember correctly. Yeah, you can. GTA 5, the game that everyone still plays to this day, was on the PS3. There's a very technically impressive video game. I don't know. Like the graphics and gameplay, I think were a bit janky, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Resident Evil was a PS2 game. Wasn't PS3. I think 5 and onwards was PS3. Yeah. Do you know that when you go to like there's a secondhand electronics shop here. I think it's called the CEX for all the British people. They sell really old consoles. Like I've seen a PS1 there, and I was like, geez, I didn't think they still existed. Like I saw the OG PSP, and I saw that I was like, I have not seen one of those in decades, right? That is insane. To the point, it's not a sex shop. It they sell secondhand electronics, movies, whatever, right? And they all sell it for a really good price. So yeah, I bought my headphones from there. I still have my Sega that I bought in middle school, and it still works. That is insane. In fact, I think that store has like those handheld gaming consoles from like I think 30, 40 years ago. Yeah, they're at the shop. You can get anything. Those ones are actually they're probably priced more now than they were when they first released, simply because of like nostalgia factor, right? Otherwise, I would have like considered getting one, but I saw it and I was like, realistically, I don't think I'm gonna play it. I considered a handheld, right? But I realized I'm a basically stay-at-home cat, right? If I need to game, I can game on my computer. I don't need to game on my bed, so. But if I become a corpo cat again, if I finish my little artist vacation, maybe if I'm commuting, I'll consider getting a handheld. Maybe a Steam Deck, maybe a Switch. But Switch, I think, is very pricey and doesn't have a lot of games. A Steam Deck might be worth the investment. PS3 is considered retro. Yeah, I remember I loved playing it when I was younger. Good times. I used to have as Kay said, I have a PS2 in pristine condition. I had one. Do you know how it died? I live by the coast, right? My home country, by the seaside. If you're by the ocean, the air is salty, so anything metallic rusts really quickly. When I finished my stuff in Malaysia and I went to visit my parents for a bit, I took my tools with me, wire strippers, pliers, etc. Metallic tools that I have owned for years. And they were in pristine condition. I went to my home country for a few months. That thing was rusted through and unusable to the point I had to throw it away. And I didn't even use it, it was just in my suitcase. So, yeah. Salty air is. Ugh. If you ever feel like, you want to live by the seaside, if you're not already living on the coast, like in a coastal country, or a coastal state, yeah, I forget some countries are massive. You might want to reconsider. Salt Rot Dam, yeah. It's good for humans, not good for metal. And do you know what electronics are made of? They're made of metal. So yeah, when that thing died, we took it to the shop. They opened it up. It was completely rusted through. So yeah, that was sad. Anyway, we got a PS3 after that. So good ending, not to worry. I just really wished, because back then what we tried to do was we took the PS2 games and tried shoving it in the PS3 to see if it worked. It did not. Do you know what? Okay, speaking of the PS2, you know what is a beautiful game? Maybe not even gameplay wise, because I don't remember anything about the gameplay. I remember just the concept. Hold on. This is back when games had good writing. Let's see. Ever heard of Time Splitters 2? Hold on, I'm putting it up. Oops, wrong one. Yeah, here we are. Completely different CPU architecture, and they don't add an emulator. Yeah, but this was child Ordi who didn't know anything. So I'm just like, this has CD, that has CD. It could work. The science checks out. So yeah, you can imagine. It was basically just we plugged it in and was like, I hope this works. Yeah. Okay. Time Splitters 2, super old game. Now, why do I remember this game more than anything else? The concept was beautiful. Also, if you tried explaining just the word CPU, architecture, or emulator to past Audi at that age, they'll just stare at you with blank eyes and a buffering logo above their head. So, okay. You know what? I need to start drawing for this. Hold on. Hold on. It's time for an education. Now, the beautiful part about this game is I don't remember anything about the plot. I just remember certain checkpoints where you are basically in multiple time paradoxes in this game. So, you are playing the game and you encounter a stranger who looks exactly like you. Uh, and he often helps you until you're playing the story further along until you find another stranger who looks exactly like you, but in a strange sense of deja vu. That's exactly where you were before. Like, okay, put it this way. This is the timeline of the game. The story is linear. While you are playing, right, you're playing the story, you're progressing until you hit a block over here, right? And you're like, damn, this is a locked door. We need to get in there. How do we get through? Then you hear a knocking noise. You look up in the air vent. You see a version of yourself literally just hand you the key. And this is the first time you see it. You look at him and you're like, what the hell? And as you ask what's going on, he's like, hey, don't think about it. Just pass it along. And then he like it pisses off deeper into the ducks. And then you open the door and you're like, okay, that was weird, right? So as you start navigating like the map, you go through like some stuff and you find yourself back at that point, except you're inside the air vent and you see your past self. And then you have to give your past self the key. So, and then story goes like that. So you basically play every level twice, right? You play it as yourself in the present. You always you as the present, right? But you encounter your future self until you keep playing along. You go back to that point. You encounter your past self. You help them along, Like, for example, there's one mission you have to, like, run, and your future self is on a turret somewhere shooting the enemies, giving you cover. Play along fast enough. It stops being a mission where you have to run and hide to you go onto the turret, and now you're playing a defense mission. You're protecting your past self. So yeah, it was a super cool concept, and that was really wild. Like my past self was just blown away, and beautiful writing. I remember nothing else about the gameplay, so that I think was the first exposure I ever had to timeline loops, or I don't know what it's called, loop paradoxes, whatever, where there's a loop where there's no beginning, but it just like goes round and round forever, right? For example, the future self, who gave him the first key? Because if he was the first one, there's no future self to give it to them, because you always get it from your future self and you always give it to your past self, but that key does not exist anywhere outside of that loop. So yeah, it was a beautiful concept. Anyway, that's me. I'm done over explaining my little fixations. But yeah, I want to get an emulator, right? Or maybe just even buy an old console, replay old games like that, and realize, wow, these were trash. So I don't know. That's what I want to do. Okay. You have an ad coming up. I really loved video games growing up, but yeah, I think my adult life is just relearning that love of video games. So we've forgotten to do art for a bit. We yapped a bit much. But it's okay. I can probably finish this model soon-ish. Actually, scratch that. I want to make this one like a little bit more expressive. The person who commissioned me, they said they want to use it as their main model. So yeah, I did give it eyebrows, so you can make it more expressive. If you look at the face, like the eyebrows really add a lot of weight to the expressions. So yeah, I want to do that. And no crazy V bridger rigging like with the full body model. In fact, this model of my own, it doesn't have anything for the eyebrows other than just up and down. Yeah, it really sells it. In fact, this was kind of connected is like a kind of V shape, like an artistic choice. I saw it was pretty cool, but I was like, this might be a bit tough to rig. So I kind of shaved his unibrow, and I hope they don't mind. I want to finish rigging like the eyebrows and stuff, so it can show like how expressive it is. And then from there, I could be like, hey, these are the changes that I made and which I think are better, and makes it more expressive. But if you like, I can always put it like back in. Yeah, usually before I mark a commission is complete, I always have those conversations. So yeah, I don't stress too much about it because it is a quick fix if they decide they don't like it, and I don't mind. Yeah, usually my commission process is once I'm done with the model, I send them the files, I send them everything, the showcase video, blah, blah, blah. It's basically done. I'm like, here you go. This is the model as it is. Give it a test drive, play around with it, see if it's all good. If there's any changes, I can make them. If there's any bugs, I can fix them. And if it's all good, mark the commission as complete. So yeah. I always find that way best because before in the past, what I do is like, for example, I just mentioned I split the eyebrows. You know what? Let me see if I can bring the original art. Should be here. Yeah, here it is. Oh, ads are done. So yeah, I was explaining before. Now, the way that, just a quick recap for those stuck with the ads. Before, what I used to do was simply, if I had any questions, I would just like ask, oh, I think this would be better. Should we change this? What do you think, Then wait for a back and forth discussion, blah, blah, blah. That took like a lot of time. And a lot of the time, people aren't artists, so they don't know what to say really, or they don't have strong opinions. So what I did was, going forward, I'm like, you know what? Why don't I just do the changes which I think are better? Show them and then like, hey, this is what I think is nicer, But if you really want like the way it was originally, no worries. Say the word. I'll make that as the new version as well. Send you the updated files and all good. So yeah, here is the OG one. Yeah. So like it's like one piece ish, kind of connected in the middle. So what I did was I kind of just separated it a little bit and made it not so sharp, right? So that I could just animate it as need be. Like, for example, if I'm rigging it and he's surprised or sad, can make it go like that, right? Kind of hard to do if it's one piece as a V. So, yeah, it was just me learning, like, to be a bit more self confident and pitch ideas and go, like, hey, I think this would be better, or this is what I did. If you like it, great. If you think we should change it, make it more like that thing, all good. So yeah, I learned that's just a much better way of doing things. Saves me time, saves me the hassle of communicating back and forth. Because I will send a message, and sometimes they reply once, maybe like within the same day, within a few hours, right? Or sometimes they could reply in a week. Yeah, I have worked with some larger creators, and I noticed like usually the ones who are larger, they're like super swamped with other stuff, super busy. They usually don't get a chance to reply. Like they can reply maybe like once a week, and hey, I can respect it. People be busy. I've been busy like that before, so I'm like, to make the process very quick, very efficient, I'm like, why don't I just take the initiative, do it anyway, and then if they like it, yay. If not, it's all good. So yeah, it'll make things a lot more smoother. Yeah, because for example, they don't know like what I'm capable of, or I can make if like how nice I can make it, or what I can do to change it, so on and so forth. So I'm like, why don't I just do it? And yeah. So anyway, this one is like the default is kind of like a bit serious. Hold on, let me. He dies it like this. So he's a bit like smiley. It looks a little bit serious. So I want it to be that when they raise the eyebrows, it kind of curls a bit, goes up, kind of unfurls, and they look a bit more silly, more goofy, which I think is the vibe they want. Either way, they do get a wider emotional range. I was about to skip the song if they kept singing, and their voice is nice and all, but lyrics throw me off. Cause yeah, BGM, I don't notice instrumentals, but if someone has like lyrics going on and I'm talking, I sometimes trail away from my own thoughts and start listening to like what they're saying. So yeah, that's a bad habit of mine. It's not a skill issue. Hey, I did lose focus. Also, streamer lost focus. The keys jingling in the center here. Yeah, that uses trigger fire. So yeah, that's the software that's broken. Anyway, hold on. Let me refund you your 1 point Nadia. Yeah. There you go. A one channel point. One Ordicoin. The value of Ordicoin has gone up, right? I made this joke. By the way, before we start the jokes, crypto's a scam. Don't buy crypto. I made this joke that, hey, you can invest in Ordicoin, our channel points, right? And they're actually real and have monetary value. Why? Because if you scroll down to the bottom, 1 million Ordicoin will give you a mascot commission, like custom one, like the ones you see down here, right? And back then, my commissions, like the starting price was $100. So I'm like, hey, 1 million Ordicoin is worth $100. So that means, what is the math? 10,000 Ordicoin is worth $1. So yeah, it is financially backed by me. So anyway, since I raised my starting price of mascots to $150, yeah, Ordicoin's value has jumped by 50%. So yeah, if you didn't invest, sucks to be you. Anyway, enough of those jokes. Some people might take it seriously. So anyway, crypto is a scam. Don't do it. The only way you win at crypto is if some sucker decides to buy it from you, and then somewhere down the line, someone loses. It's one of those things where you don't create value. You just take value from somewhere else. So yeah. I don't think I need to explain how crypto works or basically how the scam works. It's basically you buy it for $1, sell it to someone for 10. They try to sell it for 11. No one wants to buy it for 11. They end up selling it for 5 and they lose money. Or worst case scenario, they don't sell it at all and they've just flat out lost everything. So, yeah. Can sell you my Neo NPG for yeah, Ordicoin. You can only redeem it here. But anyway, I wanted something a bit interesting for channel points, and I was like, I have a PNG of me making that little face. I made it our Discord picture, right? So what I did was I just took it, slapped it on some golden coin. I was like, we now have our own channel point thing. So yeah. I wish that you as a streamer could give channel points, right? Because for example, say we host like a game or something, someone's a winner, I'm like, there you go. You get 10,000 order coin and you can like save up and then you can, I don't know, you can actually redeem the really nice things like, my mascot commissions, right? Because I think that'll be fun. You reward people for stuff. But unfortunately, Twitch does not want people to create points like that out of nowhere, simply because they wanted to have this system where you can redeem channel points for IRL coupons and gift codes, right? Say like I have a sponsor and I have like 150% off coupons to give away. I can make it a redeem, right? So what they wanted was basically to avoid like a scam where, oh, sorry, like if the partners are like, hey, if they redeem this, they get 50% off. They wanted to avoid a scam where like I, as an artist, just go around to all my friends, give them the 50,000 points for the redeem whatever, and then they just start getting free 50% off discounts at basically an unlimited amount. So yeah, Twitch wanted to invest in a system like that. I don't think anyone has really ever done that, but they just want the infrastructure in place so that someone can do that. Maybe it was their way of kind of luring in advertisers, or maybe people if they want to run promotions on Twitch. Yeah. So anyway, that's what I learned when I was trying to figure out how do I give people channel points. Yeah, the only way you can gain them, other than watching, gifting, blah, 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 the usual stuff, is if there's a prediction and people start betting against each other. Yeah, we do have points for like the streaming avatars. You see these little guys down here? This software has its own points. Stream Elements, which I use, also has its own points. Yeah, there's lots of different things that have their own sets of points, but I didn't want to have like three different, what's it called? I didn't want to have like three different point systems and all that stuff, and everyone earns channel points. So I'm like, yeah, I will just use this one and we'll call it a day. That's why I try to make like fun things out of it. I do have I think the only ones that have like monetary value are the pay to use models, the PTU ones for 100,000 are these little guys down here. So yeah, these ones I usually sell them for like $10, or if you wanna get a almost 50% discount, you can buy it on Booth, cause I sell it much cheaper there because the Japanese yen is like much weaker. So yeah, wait, hold on. Got a self plug. So yeah, these are my official shops. I want to make one on Etsy because apparently a lot of English speakers now get like stream stuff from there. But yeah, Booth is usually the place to get it cheaper if you're interested. You might need a translator because it is a Japanese site. And to be fair, that is where I get most of my sales for the pre-made models. So yeah, it was a good idea to invest in that. It was a bit of a headache to set up simply because I can't read Japanese. So I had to basically screenshot the entire screen each time, paste it in Google Translate so it tells me what everything means. Yeah. So it was nice. But anyway, if you don't want to pay $10, you can pay it with channel points. Or if you're a regular here and you're just like, you always chat, you're just around, you're a familiar face in the community, you can just ask. I'll probably just give it to you. I make them generic animals. So, for example, if someone is a sheep VTuber, they have a sheep model. If someone's a bunny VTuber, they have a bunny one. Same with the frog, etc. So, yeah. Anyway, that's just some of the stuff that I do a little on the side. Because instead of actively working on commissions, this can work kind of passively. This can just work to passively generate income. Because, pay to use model, like, I can make the model once and sell it like 100 times. And yeah, eventually there comes a point where I start earning more than the amount of work that I put into it. Oh, I see people dueling. You can always kidnap Ordi and make him give you the $100 model. That's a lot of work. You could probably just ask nicely and I'd probably just give it to you. We have too much. I forgot what we were doing. Learn to read. You can always kidnap Ordi and make him give you the. Yeah, I'm saying for you, it's a lot of work to kidnap me. Because you have to track me down, find out where I live, catch me when I'm actually outside, which is like maybe 1 hour a week, It's a lot of work. You could just show and be like, hey, can I have the model? I'll be like, sure, here you go. Well, congrats, Nadia, for winning. But yeah, do be cautious. We do have a say so stream here. So, you know what? I made this joke with Feather the other day. He was telling his story where he accidentally debimbified someone on Final Fantasy because they had like that as a status effect. And I was thinking about it, and I told him, hey, my chat is a very dangerous place for your community because they're a very lewd community, right? So I'm like, my place is very dangerous because they will show up here. They're not allowed to be lewd, and we talk about intellectual stuff some of the time. So their intelligence will go up. Next thing you know, they will slowly be debimbified, and I don't know if they want that. So yeah, I made that joke with them. Not me though. I'm smart. Yeah, you can be a clever bimbo. I feel like when I brought up the UV chart the other time, it was basically a simple graph of UV index, time outside, how much UV damage you get, right? And yeah, basically, some people popped in, saw that, and they were like, "Oh, a graph, science, numbers," and they noped out. So yeah, I found that hilarious. It's basically like you wave like a cross and they hiss like a vampire. What do you mean? Oh, sorry. If you're not a bimbo, I apologize. You're part of Feather's community, so I just assumed. But we have intellectual talks here. In fact, once, like I was watching Feather play Planet Crafter, right? And he's like, "Oh, we need uranium for our fusion reactor." So I was just there, full nerd emote. Wait, I even had the nerd emote. Hold on. So I was just like, actually, uranium is used in fission reactors, not fusion reactors. For that, you need hydrogen isotopes. right? And he just like read that, paused, looks at us like, Ordi, you're not allowed to be smart here. Actually, is fission. Fusion is fusing two atoms together. Fission is, uranium breaking down. So yeah, that's but I think the devs who were making it was just like, this is nuclear. This is nuclear and blah blah blah. I don't know if Planet Crafter has a fission reactor, but he just called it a fusion one. But yeah. Anyway, that's a fun fact you guys now know. So far, if you see nuclear power plants, those ones all use nuclear fission. Humanity has yet to properly achieve fusion yet. I think actually I did see they were making some breakthroughs in China with fusion reactors. So the problem with fusion reactors now, sorry, this is science stream now. The problem with fusion reactors right now is they can run the fusion process and get energy out of it. But to start off that process, they actually use more energy than is generated, right? So they're working on optimizing it, making it more efficient so that they get more energy from it than they put into the system to get the reaction running. So yeah, fingers crossed we have the Fallout universe. Everything is nuclear powered, never need to charge phones. One of the reason they're looking into molten salt reactors. Ooh, I remember seeing something about that. I don't know if this is the same one or the different ones, but this one is meltdown proof, right? Where even if the whole system begins to melt down and like no human intervention, yeah, like the fuel was basically a bunch of balls rather than uranium rods, the traditional rods with the control everything. Yeah, so I saw something like that. It was pretty fascinating. Yeah, I think there's just like a thorium with some uranium mixed in. Yeah, yeah. The biggest plus for that thing is, in case of accident, does not does not melt down. You don't get any. You don't get the next Hiroshima. Sorry, that's the bomb. Crap. What was the place called again? The one in Ukraine. The name is failing me. Chernobyl. Right, right, right. Sorry. Yeah, that's the one. Fission is the reaction that generates energy. Fusion is just a loss for creating. No, fusion is they take two hydrogens, slam them together, and that force generates heat. So the problem is it takes more energy to shove the atoms together than the heat produced. So what they want to do is they need to make the process of shoving them together a lot more energy efficient so that they get more energy out of it. Or the so-called Chine syndrome. That I'm not familiar with. But yeah, the biggest plus is it's meltdown proof because they ran like tests like what if like on a small s China syndrome. What does that mean? I don't think I've heard that before. But yeah, the good thing about like the new reactors is they're meltdown proof, where they simulated they simulated a meltdown and they just let the system run and it kind of just sorted itself out without human intervention. So yeah, basically a meltdown in US ends up in China. Oh yeah, because nuclear disasters when they happen, like the very rare cases, it doesn't just affect the area; it affects like everything. The surrounding area does become irradiated, but there's also radioactive materials. Like if there's a fire, the radioactive materials ends up in the atmosphere and goes to like countries far, far away. But fortunately, nuclear accidents are very, very rare. Like they're more dramatic, but historically speaking, they've killed far less people than current methods of energy generation do. Like for example, if you have an energy plant, like a coal plant, or one that runs on fuels, fossil fuels, etc. That generates like a lot of smoke. That smoke pollutes the environment. People in the surrounding area get very sick. They get lung problems, yada yada yada. And as a result, people suffer a lot more through the whole fossil fuel stuff. So yeah, I don't think it's not even a political thing. It's just a science thing. Um, the biggest problem with nuclear, I think, is just like the perception of it, because when people think about it, they think of like the bomb and they think of the accidents. So, but if you like look at the map, sorry, like the graphs, the statistics, nuclear really hasn't done that bad of a job compared to everything else. So yeah. Anyway, I'm no expert on the topic. I'm just a cat on the internet who likes reading about these things. I may have made a gambling Minecraft mod pack. There's a 50-50 chance that it'll either work or not. Okay, I think since you have shown up at the channel, you have made several mod packs. How many of them have worked? Because at this point, I don't think it's 50-50. The odds may not be in your favor. I'm sorry. I feel like if you want to live in a like really off the grid, having a very small portable nuclear reactor, that's the way to go. Kind of like the ones they have like on the rovers on Mars. Those things powered for like, yeah. I don't know if they have them on the rovers, or I don't know if it was hypothetical either. But yeah, if you just have like a nuclear battery or like a nuclear generator, you don't need to charge anything for ages. Make nuclear fission on gas stove. I don't think you're able to. Actually, nuclear fission just happens if you leave things be, just naturally. It's a natural process. Uranium breaks down into other stuff. There are ways to make the process faster to generate more heat so you get more power. Or do you mean powering a gas stove with a nuclear fission? Because that is possible. Just get an electric stove and problemo solved. Okay, we've neglected the model. I apologize. So we talk about science and nerdy stuff, and I get carried away with the yapping. What else do we need to do? Oh, right, the angry eyes. I kind of miss Minecraft. I want to get back into it. It's one of those games that, it holds a special place in my heart. I love building in it. I would always make like the most intricate redstone doors simply to hide my base. I'd build like just a random mud hut somewhere, and then you press a lever, you'll enter a secret underground room, and it has like chests but very poor loot. And then you enter the next secret entrance, and then that's even nicer, and you're like, wow, I found the motherlode. He doesn't have the most stuff, but it's a good haul. And then you find an even more secret bunker. Yeah. Anyway, I used to play it in survival servers. You know what my trick was? I would have basically panic rooms, because people see you, they gank you and stuff, right? So what I did was I would have like a little pod that's kind of just in my base somewhere, and if I go, there's a pressure plate. If I go, I step on it, it kind of closes a little pod behind me, it opens the floor underneath me, and I fall down into the safe room, right? Now, someone can easily follow me, so what they do is, oh, the door is open, I'm gonna step on it and go down, chase after them. The first person who goes through it, completely fine. The second person who goes through it triggers the trap where they fall into, a little 2 block high space that's completely surrounded by obsidian. And as they fall, it activates, what's it called? It activates lava and water. So it creates kind of like an obsidian seal, right? They get sealed into place with a one little window hole where I can just show up and kill them. They can either fight back or take the time it takes to mine through obsidian, which takes ages, right? So, yeah, that's how I would stop people from killing me. And to stop them from breaking into my base, what I'd do is I'd kind of hollow out the area and I'd cover the entire base in like a little shell of obsidian. And on top of that obsidian, there's a little gap between the natural rock and the base itself, and I just flood that with lava. So if they're digging straight down, yeah, they fall into lava. Or if they are very careful and don't dig straight down, they're like, oh, there's lava here. They'll try dig around it and not really able to get in, not realizing that, oh, it's a base. So yeah, I have a lot of fond memories of Minecraft. I really need to get back into it. But playing on a solo, what's it called? Playing on a solo world, I don't know. It just doesn't have an appeal for me, because even though I don't really play like with people so much, I what I do is I like building things and then allowing people to discover it on their own. Or if I'm like playing with like friends and stuff, I always show up to them and be like, hey, look what I'm doing. Lure them back to my place, show them the base, and be like, look, I built a castle. It has secret rooms and doors. Already server when I don't think I have the patience or the resources to run one. It's a lot of work, and yeah, a vanilla server is okay, but I think most Minecraft enthusiasts love having some mods somewhere. I kind of just, I'm okay with the vanilla game, but I imagine most people wouldn't really be into it. And, a lot of the times, if it's just like a handful of people just show up, play for 2 weeks, and then forget about it. So, yeah, if it's a larger server where people pop in occasionally and there's like a rotation of people who are around, those ones tend to be a bit more sustainable. So, yeah, I don't think I have a large enough community to justify that, because I have seen like really large streamers, they have their own servers, but they tend not to be the most populated. I don't know. It's a lot. Maybe right. Here's the exception. If there's a lot of Minecraft enthusiasts, we could have an event in Minecraft where temporary server, we show up, do a thing, have fun, and then like it goes down. Something like that. That's a bit more doable. But I don't know. Even if it's not a community thing, it could be like a fun collab idea. I think I need to get into the habit of learning to collab more. I think one problem that I have, I'm sorry, I'm burping a bit. I think one problem that I have is if I'm playing a game, it's taking all my attention. I forget to read chat. I don't think the VODs are still there. But if you have my 8 hour long Wildmender VOD, I think it's on YouTube as a draft, it's not public. But yeah, if you watch through it, you'll notice me chatting for like the first couple of hours. And then you realize as I get more and more absorbed by the game, it ends up being like the last 6 hours is like Feather talking. He's talking to the chat, and then occasionally I talk to him about the game. So yeah, I realize that's a very bad habit I have. So I want to practice multitasking. It's a skill to really get good at. Yeah, I want to start grinding towards it a bit. So yeah, when I mentioned I was playing Wildmender by myself without Feather, I was like, I want to just experiment with a lot of different stuff so I know what to do. Like, So it becomes what's it called? It becomes me just going through the motion of like I know how to build it, I know what to do, rather than me trying to figure out the science of how the game mechanics work. So yeah, thought about building a local sound TTS bot for that specific case. Oh, like if there's like a chat activity. In fact, if you use Streamlabs, right? I don't know about Stream Elements. They have a little button where if you check the chat thing, you can just why am I logged out? You can chat it. You can check it so that when there is a like chat activity, it does play a noise. Hold on, let me take a screenshot of this. So yeah, if you go to the chat box settings, you can. Yeah, here it is. There's this section at the bottom where chat notifications trigger a sound to notify you when there is new chat activity. You can select your original sound or whatever, or use the stock ones available. You can set the volume, and you can even set like how frequently it triggers. You know, you can set it to be like each and every message that pops in, or like once every at least 30 seconds, right? So yeah, you can fine tune it as you wish. I have never used this, but I just know that it exists. I was thinking of having it read to me just to prevent me from having to take my eyes off what I'm doing in case I get into an intense game. Oh, actually, yeah, that makes a lot more sense. That's a great idea. I never thought of that. Yeah. Because I usually have to get out of an intense situation and then, like, I'm like, okay, what have I missed? And then turn to look at chat. But if you wanted just like a little ping to see if there's activity, yeah, this one works. But if you want something to read them out, yeah, I think that one you might need a custom thing. The good thing about like streaming and having your own custom setup is the world is your oyster. You can do anything. In fact, there is a streamer whose entire content is just crazy things that they set up in OBS, shindigs, right? Yeah, beautiful content. I don't really watch it live, but I always see the shorts. So yeah, he does funny things where what's the last one I remember? I think one is like, hey, I trapped chat in my basement and they have to run to power the stream. So it's basically the little chat in the corner on treadmills, and depending on how fast chat is moving, the quality of the stream either increases or decreases. If chat is not moving fast enough, then there's not enough power, and what's it called? The quality starts dropping. So it's like, guys, you need to pick up the pace. So people just start like spamming in the chat to speed things up, and then the quality goes back up. So yeah, it's all like a I think he makes it. Yeah, he makes it all himself. He does his custom bots, sets the whole all the stuff up on OBS. Yep, very talented, super interesting. So yeah, immediate follow the moment I started seeing that kind of content. Yeah, it's beautiful. I recommend checking them out. Yeah, it's nice since OBS has Python and Lua access built into it. Yeah, you could run like a ton of stuff through it. Even if you don't build your own stuff, there are a lot of programs that are super nice. Like where's StreamerBot? Oh, there it is. One of them is StreamerBot, right? So this one actually triggers what's it called on OBS. You know when I have ads rolling, right? Capitalism noises. This one, right? So it's a bot that connects to basically everything. It's connected to my Twitch, my OBS, my VTube Studio, all of that stuff. So if ever I needed to do anything in OBS, I usually turn to StreamerBot. It's kind of lightweight and pretty easy to use if you like fiddle around with it. Based on your experience from what I've seen in your chat, I believe it'll be a breeze for you, James. Don't worry about it. In case you want to get off the shelf stuff, StreamerBot is very lightweight and very programmable. I don't think I have the patience to write my own bots, so I just go with whatever is available. But yeah, so far streamer bot is the one that has never failed me. It's like it's very simple. Even you look at the UI, it's very basic. Um, I take a screenshot. Yeah, like the UI is like this. I'll click on the sign in one so it shows. Wait, did I forget to switch to this thing? Yeah, this is yeah, chat notification. I think I showed this, but I can't remember. Because sometimes I forget to change the scene. But anyway, yeah, streamer bot is like this. So you have your action, you have your redeem, and you can get it to do whatever you want, right? So yeah, it has like variables. This is the thing that holds my counters, right? So for example, you see here, this is for the sign in. This is a user, whoever did the redeem has signed in for, and then it has like the counter variables. So yeah, it's pretty useful. I love it. The only downside is it couldn't really connect, I think, directly to VTube Studio, but it can connect to like Mix It Up and other softwares. So yeah, that's how I got my staff to start working. It was a headache. If I did a custom bot, I probably could have done it in one script, but since I am lazy cat, I took the hard route, and yeah, I basically just daisy chained together like 3 different software. I know a hot shack who's here sometimes and occasionally does shorts for me. He's also in CS. I think I think he's a CS student or graduate. I don't remember. Um, so yeah, whenever he talks about doing like stream stuff, I think he exclusively only uses his own bots. I think that that requires a certain passion to sink the time into it that I just straight up don't have. I mean, like for example, I'm passionate about like live 2D models and art and rigging. So these little things here, I will sink all the time in the world for it. But coding, I don't know. It's not a. It's not my favorite thing on the world in the world. You know. Oh, oops. Sorry, I forgot to select this thing. There we are. I'm sorry, I got a bit too involved in the yapping and kind of forgot that I was doing work. Whoopsie. But anyway, I have the angry expression. Angry, but can blink. Definitely not for everyone. Being mentally exhausted is just as bad as physically exhausted. Yeah, I think that's something some people don't seem to realize. I feel like people who are always mentally exhausted maybe kind of downplay physical exhaustion, and people who are usually they do like hard labor kind of downplay mental exhaustion. So yeah, both suck for very different reasons, but are equally bad in my opinion. It really depends. But one thing that I find as an important skill is knowing the difference between which, like, you can be mentally exhausted, but you can't like just go to sleep because your brain is tired from thinking, but your body is not tired from activity and all. So what I do is if I'm feeling mentally exhausted, I just start doing physical stuff. I start doing chores. I go for a walk, work out, that kind of stuff. Tire the body as well as the mind, right? So it's not just like one is down, but the other is fine. Really min max. My players would be proud. D&D players. So yeah, I if I had to pick, I'm fine being physically exhausted because I can still like do stuff. You know, I can watch a movie, chat with friends, play games, right? But I feel like if I'm mentally exhausted, I can't do anything. Even if it's like watching a movie, I find myself not paying attention, and if I'm not paying attention, I don't get what's going on. I get bored, and yeah. So if I'm mentally exhausted, I just exhaust myself physically as well, so that I'm completely tired. I just go lay in bed like a, you know, you get what I mean. Sorry, words are failing me. It's been a long day. But yeah, I just lay in bed, stare at the ceiling until the sleep takes me. Usually my cats like that because if they see me just laying motionlessly, they're like, "Oh, what a warm pillow," and then they come sleep on me. Usually I text my friends, like just pictures of my cats laying on top of me, and I'm like, "Hey, I laid down for 5 minutes. Unfortunately, the cats decided that I shouldn't be getting up anytime soon. 'Cause yeah, they sleep on me, they rest their head on me, and they like me more than their pillows, which I feel like I should be flattered. But I have things to do. But they're so cute, I can't bother them. I just lay there like, this is my life now. Okay, this is fine. Mm, okay, I think we can do the normal eyes. I started watching this show, New Girl. I don't know if anyone's familiar. It's not the newest thing. I think I've seen a few clips of it. Seemed funny. So it's now the show that I put on when I have nothing else to watch. It's not too bad. Not the best writing I've ever seen, but it was okay. The protagonist, the very quirky weird girl, Ryan. It seems very outlandish, but I actually have a friend like that. So yeah, every time I watch the show and they do all their sorts of weird stuff, I'm like, you know what? This reminds me of this friend. I should give them a call. I am starting to feel a bit of strain on my voice, but I feel fine. I can keep going. I'll just keep this on. Oh, I did watch Alien Earth recently. The one thing that fascinated me, transferring minds into that synthetic body. I don't know if any of you guys have seen it, Ryan. Now, here is the problem that I have with that, the science of it. It's kind of like that teleportation dilemma, right? They say if you have a teleporter which scans you, deconstructs you, and rebuilds you someplace else, that thing basically kills you and creates a clone of you elsewhere, right? Now, the problem with that technology for like the whole transferring into a synthetic body is I don't think they transfer the mind. I've only seen episode one, so this may be spoilers if I'm correct. I don't think they transfer the mind. I think they scan the mind, copy it into the new body, and then just like delete the old version, you know? So yeah, that's I was watching that, I'm like, would I ever do this? And I'm thinking to myself, ain't no way. I would never trust a corporation that says, yeah, we are transferring your mind. It's basically like copying a hard drive. They copy it onto something else, destroy the original, and like this is the new copy. So yeah, I don't trust that. There's a lot of philosophical questions to be raised, like, are you the same you as you were yesterday? That whole stuff. We're not going to get into the existential dread of it all, but I'm like, I don't think I would trust that technology, especially since it's a like a company that seems to. I'm not sure what their goal is, but they seem to be. They remind me a lot about like the current tech CEOs currently, and I was like, I don't think I would trust their product. It's the same as like the whole Neuralink thing. Yeah, I don't trust any technology that I can't immediately unplug or rip off. So, yep. If it is Wayland Tech, then you never trust them. I don't think I trust any of them. The cyborg one, if I had to. It's reminding me of this engineer that keeps his gun next to a printer to shoot if it makes the wrong noise. Yeah, that's I am like that. In fact, that's a very good rule of thumb. If you're not in the tech world, right, and you want to know, can I trust this guy to be a competent person in the tech department? You can check how they are with fancy gadgets and newfangled technology, right? If they're a tech enthusiast that wants to shove AI into everything, they're not always. Probably, I wouldn't trust them because they seem to be, in my opinion, they seem to be very fascinated by the dream of the technology rather than how it currently works. They could probably be very competent at their job, maybe like yeah, just I'm not even going to describe it. Just they could be competent at their job, but I'm like, they strike me a bit as a dreamer. Now they would probably be great if you put them in like at the front of the company where they talk to maybe the more tech illiterate people and sell them on the idea and the dream. Probably great in sales or negotiations because if they believe in that dream, they can sell that dream, right? All of their projects would be way over budget. Yeah, they have like the idea, but then they realize to make it work, they would require an infinite amount of money. So they downsize until it's just like an okay product. So yeah, I never trust people who sell dreams. I trust technology, the math, the data, rather than hey, this is the next best thing, this is the future, blah blah blah. Why? Explain. So yeah, that's the way that I like to look at it. Look at AI, right? One of the biggest selling points is you don't need to hire 10 people. Sorry, you don't need to hire 100 people. You can get one AI to do the whole thing, right? So that is a dream because you're like, the dream is the AI is competent enough to do the work of a person, but at the speed of a computer. But I think I did see like quite a few articles where they do surveys on companies that replace workers with AI. I think the large majority of them do kind of regret their decision. I don't mean people who use AI tools, more as in, hey, we've fired our IT department and now we have an automated bot that helps us with all our emails and stuff. Like, if our computer is broken, we ask the AI. Yeah, those kinds of companies, that kind of replacement, pure regret. I mean, is it impossible? Probably not. I just think the technology is not there yet. And if it does become there yet, that could be a problem. I did see a lot of people saying physical work, like trade skills, electricians, plumbers, people who work in construction, that kind of stuff. They tend to be a bit more safe because AI currently lives in a digital space. But I did see some I forgot who from which company, one of those like CEOs that like preach AI. They're like, yeah, the next place to that AI should expand to is physical, and that's where like Boston, what's it called, Boston Dynamics, The robot dog people, yeah, that's where they'll come in. That's when the dystopia begins. So yeah, fun. I don't actually think it'll ever get that bad. No Terminator future, no apocalypse really. I just think it'll be, I don't know. I think humanity is resilient. It might suck, things might not be great, but they probably wouldn't be awful. Anyway, that's just me being an optimistic cat. The world apparently has been ending since like the beginning of humanity. We're still around, so just shrugs vaguely. We'll probably still be around for a while later. But I think the one niche in the corpo world, right, that I kind of fit in is more on the business side, more on the sale, just like talking to the people, talking to the enthusiastic, non techie people, all right? Because one thing that I learned in tech, right, a very, very common problem is you have the people with money and no technical knowledge, and you have the people with all the technical knowledge in the world but have no way to dumb it down and sell the idea to people who have the money, right? There is very little bridge between the tech side and maybe like the sales side. So usually I felt like my niche is kind of just wedging myself in between because I don't do the work of the tech side. I just like talk to people, right? You get invited to all of the nice fancy places, you get free food. You just like yap to some people like, yeah, this thing is great, this thing is cool. Your problem can solve it in 5 minutes, whereas someone else can, alternate product will take an hour, that kind of stuff. And then people who don't understand technology just like nod along. Yeah. I find like that's the thing I have the most experience in and feel very comfortable doing. And I noticed that it's a, how would you say it? Supply for that kind of workforce, the skill set is a lot less than I thought. So I'm like, I can capitalize on this. So yeah, that's currently what I'm thinking of as I consider returning to the corporate world. Either that or I'll join a VTuber company. I don't know, whichever comes first. Would you guys ever join? Because I see that there's like a lot of pros and cons of joining like a VTuber agency, so to speak. Now, I don't think it's a perfect setup. I think at the end of the day, if you treat it like another company, you should be fine. Because I always see like excuse me, I always see a lot of the horror stories about like VTuber agencies and this and that. I'm talking like the proper established companies. I'm not talking about three guys who banded together and started a Twitter page, right? I see a lot of the common problems is, it's like just any other ordinary company. They have poor management, this is this, wasteful with resources, so on and so forth. So long as you're not in one which makes things actively worse, you should be fine. I think they're pretty good ones. I think Hololive is okay. I think Phase Connect is a really good one. Yeah. Every company has their own, yeah, every company has their own issues, but nothing is perfect. Holo has a problem with being a public company. It's not perfect, but if you treat it kind of like an everyday job, you should be fine. Phase Connect, I think, is it's pretty interesting because it's a bit rare to see like everyone's super happy and chill. You said Goldie, you said Phase Connect is a good one, but it's mostly girl idol one though. Things change. But yeah, I think if given the choice, okay, this is the strat, right? If you want to be, you're purely cold, calculating psychopath, right? The strat is if you manage to get into a big corpo company, you build up your audience, your fame, people love you for you, not the company. And then you switch to indie, you take all your audience with you. That's you'll maximize profits. I think that's you should only do that if the company is terrible. But hey, that's a way to grow. Joke is that Phase gets all its members from the psych ward. Yeah, I see a lot of their clips and seen a couple of their streams. It tracks. I think my two favorite are Pippa and Tenma. Both crazed and deranged for very different reasons. The downside to making jokes like the way Pippa does, right? The reason I don't allow that kind of stuff in my community is it's very easy to get people who genuinely think things like that to show up thinking they have found a home here. And the reason I don't allow jokes like that from like the community is it's kind of hard to tell who is joking and who is actually like a not so nice person. Slippery slope, yeah. Like you can never tell, like through chatting and texting. So yeah, I'm like to be safe. It's all good. Like I said, I'm not too strict with the rules. If someone is a regular here and it's all chill, and they make like a maybe like a spicy joke like that, I'll be like, okay, that was funny, but yeah, we have the rules. Tap the sign, but laugh as well. So yeah. But if someone just like shows up complete stranger, right? It's okay if people are new and yeah, that's all good. But if like brand new, no reputation, we don't know if they're cool yet, and then they start like spouting off jokes, I'd be like, this may not end well. So yeah, just immediately prune that bush. To be fair, I thought I would have had to be a lot more strict on like moderation and cultivation of like the community and stuff. But surprisingly, everyone's been wonderful. So yeah, pat on the back, guys. I think there's only one case where I was a little put off by like one person who came around, and they were. I think we were. I forgot what their context was, but we were talking about I think like America and Canada, and I do get they have their rivalry, but they were I think they were very patriotically Canadian and really did not like the US, and not in the haha silly Americans, right? They were just like very loud and aggressive about it. So I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. So I'm like, hey, it's all good. Just calm down, right? Uh, don't get overexcited. It's fine. But yeah, usually if you tell them to like chill, if they're usually like cool, they'd be like, all right, sorry, my bad, and mellow out. Or if they're a bit awful, they leave. Or alternatively, they could be a chill person, but maybe they got a bit excited and felt a bit embarrassed and is like slinked away. That also could happen. So yeah, I immediately shut things down like that if I'm like I'm not sure if it's a joke or not. So I'm like, good chance they're joking, but just in case, I'm gonna dial it back. Put a little pressure on the brakes. So yeah. But other than that, I feel like I've never had any real issues. So yeah, congrats guys, you're all wonderful. I'm just refilling my water bottle. I have this sports bottle, which is my main water bottle, but I think it's only a liter or so, and it runs out like midstream. I don't want to get up to refill it, so I have this other much larger bottle that I have, but I don't usually use it because it's kind of heavy if it's full of water. So yeah, I just use it as a reservoir, fill my favorite bottle, and use that one. Sometimes when it comes to like thinking about streaming and stuff, I'm like, oh, maybe I should do this. Maybe I should focus more on that stuff. Maybe I should focus more on like clipping and shorts and marketing and networking and 1,001 things. And then I start feeling like a bit antsy about it. My saving grace, my mantra is I always pause and I tell myself, mm, at the end of the day, I'm more artist than a streamer. So if I don't do those things, I'm good. So yeah, that usually knocks those thoughts away. Otherwise, I get a bit, I start to think about it a bit too much. So I'm like, am I doing enough for stream? Am I doing this? Am I doing that? Should it be like that? Is this enough? Is that too much? Is this just right? Normal thoughts that any creator has. But yeah, at the end of the day, I always pause. I'm like, if I stop streaming tomorrow, that doesn't hurt anything revenue wise. My reach and stuff for like my art thing is pretty solid on VGen, so it's all good. The only reason I stream, first and foremost, is for fun. And when I remind myself of that, immediately just like forget all of the troubles and be like, yeah, it's okay. I'm good now. Otherwise, it's very easy to kind of just spiral like that. I think that's why I don't think I'm ever brave enough to do streaming alone, like as a full time career. Art, I only took it because I'm like, this is a temporary thing. So yeah, because I think there's a bit too much stress a bit too much pressure involved, especially when starting out. Because it's a little bit shaky. I think the ultimate strat that most people do is start it off as a hobby, and if it goes somewhere, it goes somewhere. But yeah, I think that's what I'd do. I'd focus on just going the corpo route, and then to rest and relax, I do the streaming, I do the art, and yeah, just hang out with everyone. But these are just my late night rambling thoughts, I say at 10 p.m. I promise I'm not old. I just like to go to bed early. Among a good chunk of my friends, I'm a bit younger than the average, right? But at the same time, I'm usually considered the grandpa friend because I'm always tired. I go to bed early. I don't deal with nonsense. I have the apathy of someone going through a midlife crisis. You're like, oh, this thing is awful. This person said so and so, and I'm just there like, okay, that's nice. Okay. Apparently, that's a little bit comforting to some of my friends who like to vent and ramble, because a lot of the times they just want like an ear to listen rather than any advice or anything like that. So I'm just there like, okay, so we're going with this emotional support package. So just go, uh huh, oh, that's awful. Mm-hmm. Apparently, the fact that I seem like I don't care makes them slowly realize, like, maybe it's not such a big deal. I feel so much better now. You know what? Thanks, Ordi. In fact, do you know what happened earlier today? Like I was on a Discord call with a friend, and we are watching the Wheel of Time together. And immediately I get a phone call, and one of my friends, like I declined it, but like, hey, I'm watching a movie with so and so, and they're like, okay, you need to tell them that this is urgent. I need you to be on call because I have things to vent. And then they start like going, all of that stuff. The episode was over, so I tell them like, hey, I'm gonna be back in 5 minutes. I should be paid for this. Maybe tech was the wrong route to go. I should have gone into psychiatry. It's just making serious, meaningful faces, nodding along. Actually, I think therapy is a lot more than that. But yeah, that's just the emotional support that I go through, give to my friends. I'm the very among my friend circle, I'm just like the very quiet, stoic one. You'd be surprised. I'm very yappy on stream. Um, but like when hanging out with friends, I'm very quiet. In fact, if you go to any of like my childhood best friends and describe the way that I am on stream, they'd be like, they'll look at you like, really? Ordy? Nah, you must have that mistaken. You're talking about someone else. That's probably blah, 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 all that stuff. They would not believe you. You can try convince them day and night. They won't. I feel like the reason being is when I'm streaming, I'm basically just spewing my internal monologue out into the void, for lack of a better term. So internally, I'm very happy. I have a lot of thoughts and all of that stuff, but I don't usually share them like if I'm, hanging out and yapping with people. Sure, if it's relevant to the conversation or what we're doing, yeah. But I feel like stream is always just ooh, especially if you're like a smaller chat. There's like a lot of dead air to fill. So I'm like, okay, open the valve. The barrier between internal monologue and words that I speak completely disappears, and yeah. That's why I always have like a very random topics. I'll be like, you know what I just saw earlier today, and then start talking about it. Whatever documentary I came across or interesting thing that I saw. I did watch the Twitch patch notes for August today. They did talk a lot about like the bot stuff, so I did see where a lot of the channels and stuff that I watch got their information from. But it's always nice to get the data like directly from the source, because like if you're on Twitter, someone will be like, "Oh, if you do so and so, you won't be counted as a viewer. You won't be this," and then they get like angry farm engagement, right? But if you watch the patch notes, someone literally asked, someone is like, hey, if I watch 2 streams, do I still count as a viewer? This is the CEO, I think Dan Clancy, right? He was like, if you're watching multiple streams, yes, you will still count as a viewer across all of them, but I won't give you like the specific number of how many streams you need to have open before you stop being counted, or what exactly the metrics are to be counted, because the moment the bot agencies know how it works, they'll immediately start navigating around it, and I think they already are, because there was a major dip in like bot usage, and then a few days later it like went back up. So I'm like, this arms race has just begun. So I think I would rather hear from the backend, since the CEO's job is just to keep employees from rioting. Understandable. But we can't really talk to the backend people unless you know someone in Twitch, And that'll be a bit more of a hush hush rumor rather than anything. I need to make friends in Twitch. Just to satisfy my morbid curiosity, So I would speak their language, but they won't be able to communicate to the common user. Oh, yeah. Completely understandable. Remember when I mentioned earlier that the bridge between the layman and the tech competent there's a wide gap there. Yeah. If you ask tech, this is my experience. If you ask tech people to explain something, even though they know the person has never touched a computer before in their lives, right? They will basically start talking about in-depth. They'll start drawing charts and graphs. They basically, just like the character from Office Space who takes the info from the engineer to the customers. Actually, with a few extra steps, right? If the engineers talk to the customers, the engineers will think this customer is an idiot, and the customer will be like, I don't know what he's saying, right? every single time without fail. Like I have put it this way, like when I was working, I literally had to start taking over meetings from my bosses simply because they could not dumb down their language, right? When someone asks about like the yeah, almost doxed myself there. When someone would ask about like the product, right? They'd be like, "Oh, we use this technology that uses this framework that does that thing, very technical knowledge that you would see in sci. It's basically sci-fi babble, right? Uh, to the person that they're explaining it to, right? Whereas I'm like, "Oh, you know that thing that you know very well." They're like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." Like it is basically that thing, but with this extra feature on it that works 10 times faster. And they go, oh, so that's what it is. That's all they need to know. They don't need the blueprints. They don't need the exact technology. They don't need to they don't need to know how it works. They just need the general rough idea of what it can do and how much it costs. Tech people don't understand this, right? I say this as someone who's in tech, right? I just happen to also be an artist, so I have a lot of exposure on the sales side. To be fair, I attribute all of my sales and speaking skills, like to clients, I attribute it solely to me taking art commissions. I didn't start this way, it's just like a lot of practice. So, yeah. Basically, that guy's job, yeah, yeah, yeah. I want that job. It's basically it's not a lot of work, and you're hailed as, put it this way, um what's a way that's not insensitive to either party? You are to the customers slash investors, laymen, people who are not on the tech side. You sound like a super genius. Like, oh, you know what you're talking about, and it sounds exciting, fascinating. If you're on the tech side and you start explaining super complicated stuff to them, they zone out. They don't know what you're saying, and they don't know, like, they don't automatically assume that because they don't understand it must be smart. They're just like, I don't get it. Probably is dumb. I am smart. If it was actually good, I would understand it. That's how a lot of people are, in my experience. Basically interpreter, yes. In fact, like in my resume, I'm like, I am the bridge between these two worlds. I use that phrase whenever I'm like discussing what I do or like previously did to people. And yeah, it works well, because put it this way, to the non-tech side, I'm just like, I basically look like Steve Jobs, right? I'm explaining, very excitedly explaining complex technology, and it sounds wow, amazing, beautiful, right? But to the tech people, I'm like, oh, I am someone, I'm one of them, but I'm able to speak chimpanzee so that the people with the money know how important it is. They understand the importance of what is being done here and how it works. So yeah, that's basically it. A funny story. Not even funny story. Just a fun fact. When I was working in my my previous company, right? One of the bosses explained to me. He's like, "Oh, we really like having you at the expo. Um, one of the reasons, irrelevant to your qualifications, is you're a foreigner, and here in Asia, usually foreigners are kind of looked up as this kind of fairy tale thing, kind of like the way in fantasy people look at elves." He's like, in the corporate world, companies usually like to hire at least a couple foreigners like at their company so that people take them more seriously. And I was straight up told him like, hey, I want you to be like this guy for us, so that when we have like tech expos, exhibitions, that kind of stuff, we have booths at all sorts of stuff. We want you to like always be there, so like people can see you, smile, shake hands, that kind of stuff. And I was like, I don't know how to feel about that, but okay. The corporate world is wild. I feel like okay, the one of the main reasons that I was doing full-time art for a while, aside from moving and settling in, is I don't know. I was feeling kind of burnt out, so I decided I needed to refresh my soul, regain some of my life. True, I did settle in, but I only took like a month to settle in here. It's been like three, 3.5. I don't know. I don't count. I think three. Yeah. So yeah, I've just been vibing. So yeah, I think I'm ready to get back out there. Keep you guys posted. It won't affect stream or anything because this whole time, the reason I only stream like at this time, like at night for me, regardless of whatever I'm doing throughout the day, is I'm like, if I want to get like if I want to get back into the corporate world, I slot it into my existing schedule rather than change things around. Because sure, it would be nice to like stream at the beginning of the day where I'm full of energy, but I'm like, then I start building people's habits, a community that is only around during that time. So if I switch to streaming at night, then all of the people who are used to seeing me during the day may not be available at night, and I'll basically start from scratch. So yeah, that's one of like the behind the scenes reasons of why I stream at this time. Oh, already I got to show you the line art for a character of mine. Ooh, send it to the Discord. Feel free to do so. One of the things about the corporate world is I'm a very humble cat, right? I always, if something is like super complicated or tough and I can achieve it, I'm just like, oh, it's okay. It wasn't a big deal. It was a bit tough, but I am humble. That's just the way that I was raised, right? Pride is a sin, arrogance, all that stuff, not good. So, basically, going into the corporate world, if you are humble, it is often mistaken as incompetence. Now, one of the best things you can do in the corporate world is be confident and err on the side of arrogance, right? Uh, and I found that was a game changer. I don't mean like be psychopathic Wolf of Wall Street guy. No, that's not how it works. People will see that and think, what an a-hole. What I mean is when you describe what you do and how you do it, don't be humble and be like, it's no big deal. I just stitched together these two very complicated things and now it works. Take the most basic of tasks and present yourself like the second coming of Christ, and people will have stars in their eyes and be like, wow. Um, yeah, because my resume is like 50% marketing. Because it's not like I'm no super genius or anything. I have an okay resume, but the way that I worded it is like I made myself seem like the most important member of any staff that I join. So instead of take out trash, I'm sanitation engineer. Exactly. You got to do stuff like that. You can't just put a fancy title. Because title people will read it once, but you also have to explain like what exactly did. You'll be like, I was in charge of ensuring the proper sanitation of the entire neighborhood. Like without me, this system would crumble and be a landfill. People just like start clapping, be like, oh, okay. Even okay, if it's relevant to your job, right? So if they're like, okay, we need someone who is using someone who takes out the trash, like using that example, they're like, okay, we need a couple more people to work in sanitation. You'd be like, I have been sanitation manager for this much time. In my previous workplace, I was a critical part of the team and ensured like this place, blah blah. You have to really sell yourself. Basically, sound like you're a CEO selling an iPhone at like a tech expo, right? Say like we're revolutionizing this thing. We are doing that. Use a lot of those words, right? Here, she didn't send two of the details. Okay, hold on. Let me check it out. Ooh, that's pretty. Is this the one that's Wait, is this going to be a model? Correct me if I'm wrong. Because I think you mentioned something like that previously. Yes? It's looking good. I'm looking at like the hairstyle and stuff. I'm like, yes, this will be not too crazy to rig. Then a few of other VTubers I watch. Already on the list. Oh wait, sorry. I was looking at. Wait, hold on. Was I looking at someone else's work? Oh wait. Okay, okay, yeah. Sorry, sorry. I got confused a bit. Uh. Wait, can we share this? Can we share this? Chibi model. You know, this when I was making a full body model, this was kind of like the style I was gonna go for, chibi-ish, right? The eyebrows are yeah, eyebrows. I think it depends. The eyebrows really just sell like a, how do you say this? Whatever attitude you want, that should be the defining feature. Like you're like, oh, I want cutesy. Okay, go for eyebrows that are more like cute. Sure, it's line art. Once it's out, then I can share it as well. Understandable. Wait, sorry. Double check again. Can I share this? Can show it? Okay. Always double checking. Just to be safe. Yeah, this is it. I was saying this is the kind of style that my original full body was gonna be like. So yeah, this scores extra points with me because I like the style. I like cutesy chibi things. I'm thinking of getting a DLC with racist dwarfs to TWW3. The Book of Grudges will hold your name soon. What is TWW? I love cute stuff. Yeah, that's basically, how do you say this? As you can tell by my model, I do like the cutesy things. So this character's height is not like your normal height. It's semi-short. Yeah, my model was gonna be short as well. Like, you know what? Actually, I have the art. Hold on. Okay, I'm pulling up my never before see. I've shown this on stream before. My 2.0 model, Ordi version 2. If I can find it, that is. It should be here. Okay. Wait, make sure I'm not doxing myself. One moment. Also, this is a big file. It makes the app lag a bit. I think this is a way to like change the RAM allowed. Okay. Yep, nothing doxing me. Hit all the layers. Okay, here we are. This was to be my 2.0 model. And by 2.0, I mean it is the... I was supposed to rig this and then debut, but then I got lazy. And then so much time had passed that my art improved and my rigging improved to the point that I'm like, I can't rig this. I mean, I can, but like, it's way below my current quality. So I'm like, I have to redo it from scratch. And then I got lazy and I wanted to stream and didn't want to sink so much time into it. So I literally had a PNG of me in a cup. I'm like, I cut this up, turned it into a model, and yeah, that's why it's kind of janky. In ways that I've explained once and people can no longer unsee. So yeah. It's adorable, thank you. I think I can make it more adorable. Like the shading, you can see is a bit basic compared to what I'm capable of. The hair, I changed the color a bit. This one is a bit too strong. I didn't know what else to add stylistically, so I just went for like little stickers that I put all over me. They were also supposed to be on the staff. Oh, also you'll notice the staff. This one is basically a 2D image. Right, it's very flat compared to my current staff, which has a little bit of a 3D edge to it. Right, so you see, I've improved. Yeah, so this is one of the projects that I want to work on later. You improved a lot with that one? Yeah. You know what? This is me years ago. What's another bit of art? You know what? Art that I'm really proud of. James's model. Hold on. Let me pull it up. Yeah, this is the PNG. Oh, no, but this is not complete though. Hold on. Let me not dox myself. Ow. Already, yeah. Did I miss something? Okay. Let's see if we can do like a side by side. All right. Yeah, let's side by side this. Yeah, this stuff's not important. The main focus here, quality of rendering, like the fabrics, the shadows, the hair, the fur. Sorry, I'm in the way again. By the way, not to scale. So yeah, I think this was me learning about like clothes and folds. The hair is the most hell yeah. This one was me just learning how to make hair. Cause again, when I started, I was not a good artist. In the sense that, how would I say this? I didn't know digital art. Like I used to do traditional pencil drawing, but I kind of forgot all that. So yeah, I basically was learning art and rigging at the same time. So yeah, I basically see them improve together, but art kind of lagged behind a bit. I'm a better rigger than I am an artist. So yeah, what I'm really trying to do now is I focus a bit more on improving the art and the rendering compared to rigging these days. Because rigging, I think I have pretty much pretty good at it. Not to toot my own horn, but one of the things you should realize is if you want to be a live 2D rigger is good art can cover bad rigging, but good rigging can't cover bad art. So I want to lean more towards the art side as well. Also, this is me. This is my first attempt at making very detailed eyes, and I think I cooked with this one. Talked to my crush. He said he will take some pictures around Beijing and send them to me when I wake up. Ah, that's sweet of him. Or he's around the waist tall at most. Hey, you don't know that. You know what? You know what could be? James, I think, is like the upper end of 5 feet, almost 6. This could be the scale for all you know. You don't know how big I am. I could be a giant. I could step on you, and you wouldn't even, and I wouldn't even notice. Think about it. I could never say anything like that in Feather's chat because they might be a bit too into it. Ordi for scale. I like this. But yeah, this was the model I was supposed to use during the first time I debuted. But I decided I don't want to rig it because I've improved a lot, but I don't want to spend so much time making the art again. So that's why I went for just a very simple teacup model, and I just worked on that one. You know what? I'll use this model until I die. It's okay. I'll remake another one. I don't want to remake a chibi one because I already have this as a chibi. This will be my chibi model. But I think I do want to make a full body one. So, oh hi Feather. We're just talking about your community. Welcome on in. So I was showing a comparison of my old art from a couple years ago compared to like the rendering of my current art, like just the clothes, the hair, right? So as I was showing them this, all right, K is like, oh, Ordi is only waist size tall. And I was like, you don't know how tall I am. I could be a giant, right? Oh, oops. James here is on the upper end of 5 feet, almost 6 feet tall. This could be the reference, right? I could be a giant for all you guys know, right? And I said I could step on you guys and not even notice you were there, right? And I go, I could never say something like that in Feather's chat because they would probably be a little bit too into it. And as I'm saying that, I look to the chat. I see K going, oh, do that then. And then admitting, yeah, I am part of Feather's chat. You know your community. If you're like, oh, I could step on you, they'll probably just start typing things like yes, please, you know? So if your voice is tired, is Wallman, oh no, of course, don't worry about it. This is just means I'm tired for the day. So yeah, I'm innocent. Yeah, like I said, your community, not you. Feather is the wholesome one. If you believe that. So yeah, this is Goldie's a model that's being worked on. So yeah. Anyway, once upon a time, we were doing art and rigging a model. So yeah, Wild Mender tomorrow. 100% sure? So I noted down in my calendar. Tomorrow means like 12 hours. Oh, yeah. Usually like around your streaming time. Yeah. Sorry, time zones are weird. Same as last time, I suppose. I have Live 2D open twice. That was weird. Yep, easy cause 7:40 a.m. for me. Oh, okay. Perfect. I'll see you then. Well, see you in Wild. I was tempted to ask, I'm like, do you want to see the progress that I made? But I'm like, you know what? It's fine. Let me hide my sins and shame in the shadows. Also, you might have to lower your settings if you pop into my solo world. I had to because the frames would start dropping. I found a super efficient way of healing the world, and yeah, I will show it to you one time, but I don't think I can do that on stream because your PC and mine might explode. PNG tuber tonight, isn't it? If we're continuing your world, so not necessary. After 8 hours, maybe. It should be fine. Um, yeah, it should be fine. I didn't have any issues for like a while until I am like, oh, I can do this one thing, and like the plant growth and everything kind of just explodes very efficiently and quickly. So yeah, until we get to that point, you should be fine. And hey, if it ever starts bugging out, you could always close the model, throw up the PNG. That's always an option. A quick fix. Okay, this is good enough. Sometimes I have to do the meshes pretty manually, and that takes time. And I'm an efficient cat. Okay, lazy is not the word. Efficient. Yeah, I feel like hmm. Okay, wait, sorry. I don't think I even told my chat. So tomorrow, like 12 hours from now, I will be doing Wildmender. So it's a little bit different from the usual streams. It is way different from my usual stream time. I will yeah, I do have the going live notification on the Discord, so yeah, you can keep an eye on that. I don't know exactly what time we're starting, but yeah, estimate is about 12 hours from now. So yeah, it's usually us just hanging out, playing the games. I will try this time to not get too into the game and forget the chat exists. But yeah, it may not be the most say so stream, so keep that in mind. I I actually, the only time I ever put the mature content warning is when I'm collabing with Feather. I'm just saying I have a say so stream, and the people need to know what they're getting into. Your mature content, yes, but in the intellectual sense, not the horny sense. In fact, do you know what I'm bringing this up? Do you know what one of my friends was complaining to me about the other day? She was complaining about guys and that whole boy nonsense. And she's like, this sucks. I can't find anyone, and this is like why can't I just not be interested in romance and live alone with my cats, like you do, Ordy? And I was like, I don't know if that was a compliment or it was delivered in an offhanded way. So I'm like, hmm. They're not wrong though. I feel like among all my friends, I'm like how would you say this? They're the kind who they have that pressure of like, oh, I need to find someone. We need to be happy. We need to be this. And I'm just like, that sounds like a lot of work. Get cats. Be happy. You know. To be fair, I'm one of those people who I don't have the most romantic interest in other people. I'm very. That's why my friends say I'm very cat-like. You know, I just like mind my own business, do my own thing. In fact, you should hear the tale. You know what? I'll save this for a while minute. I'll tell you the tales of how oblivious I am to people's romantic advances. I'm just thinking like, we're just hanging out, we're being friends. This is so nice. Meanwhile, they had like ulterior motives. So yeah. Now, in hindsight, looking back, even I can be like, yeah, the signs were there. But in the moment, uh, is this the kitchen story? Yeah, there's more. Some which I wouldn't share here because they're a little bit on the more lewd side. So I'll save that for Feather's chat. But yeah, the kitchen story. I don't think Feather has heard that one. So yeah, if you want to realize how not to use K's words, but dense I am, yeah, it's basically Autistic Cat does not pick up on social cues. The series. So yeah, look forward to that tomorrow. Fear. Okay, it's nothing crazy. It's probably more tame than the average Tuesday at your community. Gonna go get some work. Wish me luck. Good luck. Actually, I think I should get to bed as well. So, um, that's a low bar. Exactly. I'll talk about hand holding, and that'll already be too lewd for my stream. Okay. Do we know that's live? I don't really see anyone. Could you hold my hand? Okay, only if you're dangling off of a cliff, then maybe. Because I'm a bit of a germaphobe. I don't like touching people. I imagine you type this out tomorrow. You'll see 10,000 people diving to grab hold of your hand, Nadia. Anyway, I don't think we'll raid out to anyone. I'm a bit EP. So, punts off of cliff. Okay. I'm a bit tired. So this is gonna be goodbye, guys. Thanks for stopping by. I had a lot more energy this stream. The effects of caffeine withdrawal have weakened over time. Yeah, last stream, I don't know if you guys were there. Yeah, I was very dead, only lasted an hour. And yeah, so thanks for stopping by, guys. See you all tomorrow in 12 hours. If you want just like full long day of actually, I don't know how long we'll stream, but several hours of cat digging a hole and playing with water and yapping. Tomorrow, be here. Depending on how it goes, I'll probably still have my stream at night as well. We can finish this seal model. So yeah, maybe 2 streams tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see. Keep an eye on the Discord. I'll update you guys there. So, thanks for stopping by. Hope you had a great time. I know I did, and see you all later. Bye bye. Take care of yourselves, and drink water, eat food. Don't do dumb things, and you'll be fine. So, bye bye.